Hola. You've still got that up there, Bob.
It's broke. Still got one up there.
The first scenario that everybody's going to be playing. We've just been chatting in the background, and you've got Hold the Line sat there ready for everybody to see.
But far more important than that, far more important is what bizarre things are we drinking.
That's because the intro hasn't played.
It did play.
Right.
No,
according to the screen, we are live.
Excellent. We're live.
It did play. I heard the intro. You might not have.
Heard the intro.
Well, I'm on the Newcastle Brown at the moment.
I didn't. So I apologise. I apologise to everybody out there that was expecting a slick performance. But here we are. And we are to the computer whether there is anybody out there in the world.
Go on, Dan. What were you saying?
Well, according to my screen, there are 6 people watching.
Well, I mean, should we tell them what we're watching?
Well, it could be a moment.
You are watching the Masters 2023 live draw and Army List review. And the panel for this evening are myself, Janice, the Trollette, who is CEO for this weekend, and Dan King, the one and only Dan King. So,
indeed.
Without further ado, I'll explain a little bit about what we're going to do, and then we'll launch into it. As you right, okay. Well, we're up to 8 viewers. That means there's at least 8 people watching me. I feel really embarrassed. I haven't done this for over a year, and it shows. I can tell. So what we're going to do, brief intro. We're going to go through the scenarios for this weekend's Masters in the order that they're going to be played. Then we're going to go through the table allocations and Army lists for the 11 tables, the 22 players at the Masters. The draw has been done. The draw was done by Janice. And I have it in front of me. We'll go through each table, the players and their army. And then at the end, we'll discuss the lists, see what our predictions for game 1 is. And then at the end of the 11 tables, we'll have a brief recap, and then we'll have our predictions for who we think is going to be the UK Master of 2023. This is, of course, for the 2022 season. The games are being played under the Big Red Book with allies, with withdraw, because those conditions were in place last season when the people qualified. It's just that, unfortunately, due to electronics and things like that, people can't use the same army lists. So the army lists are the updated Big Red Book. They with withdraw and yes, go on.
I was just wanting to, Well, I figured I'd put my hand up so I could actually speak. I want to know what Dan's drinking because I never got that far.
Oh, did you not hear me before? So I'll go into it in more detail.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So this is O'Donnell's Tough Nut Moonshine. It's basically hazelnuts, caramel, nuggets, and it's just a beautiful, sweet awesomeness. It's very, very nice. So it's a drink to savour and enjoy.
Filth, and I need some.
Yeah. So just to know, although I did qualify for the Masters, unfortunately I already had plans. I already had plans on the weekend, so I couldn't make it. So, is what it is.
That's the problem with family, isn't it? Oh, Andy Moonraker says he's on the pale ale tonight. I'm not sure how to take that one. Right. Do we want to do the scenario now then?
As long as it's not American Pie Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll go through the first scenario. So the first scenario is going to be Hold the Line. The source of this is Shroud of the Reaper, so you can all play Mark Cunningham when you get there.
I like this one.
The description suspicious.
Yes, I know.
If you look at the picture, it makes sense.
It is fairly straightforward, no matter what the instructions say. So basically what you end up with is a 12-inch strip down the middle of the table, and then that's divided equally into thirds. On the picture, there's 2 yellow outside thirds, which are worth 2 victory points, and the centre third is worth 3 victory points, up to a total of 7. So the idea is basically it's a bit like a cross between dominate and invade. And at the end of the game, add up the total unit strength of players' units within a rectangle. If a unit is straddling the line between the 2 rectangles, it's considered to be in whichever rectangle is covered by the majority of its base, or choose, which is straight out of the control scenario. The player who has the highest unit strength in each rectangle controls it. And like I said, you get 3 if you hold the center rectangle, 2 if you hold the rectangles on either side. So maximum of 7 points, or if you get wiped out, minimum of 0. And also, because we're nice, we're going to give you a brief look at the map for this, as chosen by the TO. That's the map for this scenario.
There will be maps and scenarios going up live with all the actual lists after we've done the podcast. So there will be a Dropbox link. Yeah, that's the one. For everybody to actually have a look at all the lists, not just who they're playing, but you'll be able to find who you're playing as well. And you will find that the scenario is in there. There's a scenario pack with all 5 scenarios listed for the weekend in order as they're going to be played.
So can I just note at this point, those of you that offered to give us bribery money for an open kill zone in the centre, we need that money sent in now, please. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, you know, that it was particularly picked out for having an open centre because you've got 3 parts that have to be contended in this game. The fact that there's a hill on either corner, also specific. I was a little bit mean with this actual map, but at the same time, it all works.
Just to answer John Gunn's question, I mean, it says if there's no clear majority, the owning player must choose which rectangle the unit is in. I presume they can just choose that at the end of the game.
It does actually say that there, yeah.
It doesn't say when you choose it specifically, though. I presume you can just decide at the end of the game as you score.
Well,
is that the intention?
You tot up the points at the end.
Yeah,
so
it is all about
at the end of the game. Divide the board into 3 rectangles, straddling the centre line.
Playing the game.
Yeah. So yeah, at the end of the game.
So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2, Occupy, an old Clash of Kings scenario. So after choosing sides, place 1 objective marker in the exact centre of the board. Then the players each place an objective marker completely within 6 inches of the centre line, starting with the player who chose sides. These 3 objective markers are the secondary objectives. Next, the players place another objective markers on their opponent half of the board, at least 6 inches from any board edge and 9 inches from the centre line. These are the primary objectives. And the victory points are awarded at the end of the game as follows: 1 victory point for each secondary objective you control, 2 victory points for each primary objective you control. So some of the newer players might not have come across that one, but some of the...
I can see that there's a debate about not in majority of unit. So unit not being in majority of the first one. I'm going to make a ruling on this one straight off as a TR. If the majority of the base is in a specific sector, it is in that area. Simple as. For control, if it's majority base in an area, that's where it's counted.
And John says, who chooses first?
Well, that's down to the roll at the beginning.
Sorry, who chooses first for picking when a unit straddles the line? If we're saying it's at the end of the game, which player chooses first? The player who went first?
I would imagine, yeah, to me, it would be the first player would get the say as to where they are. But to be very honest, if we get to the point where it's going to be down to, I've got a unit that's exactly half and half into that area, I'm going to be pulled about from every table. So, yeah, player that goes first.
Note to self, make sure no Moonrakers at next year's Masters. Okay.
I actually quite like this scenario. I can't remember why it was removed.
I love it. I do love it. And occupies really
as I was saying,
well. Sorry.
Before the torrent of questions about this one, there's the map for game 2. Oh, pardon me. Newcastle Brown.
Did I give you too much
feast your eyes
in your beer?
Again, we try to have a nice kill zone in the centre for you. So, yeah.
Well, it's slightly off centre, isn't it? It's offset.
A little bit.
There's lots of kill zone.
A little bit.
Moving swiftly on. Dominate. The standard dominate. So
I'm giving the Dash 28 guys something to talk about when everybody's playing.
Should already have fucking argued this one to death. At the end of the game, add up the unit strength of all your units have the majority of their footprint within 12 inches of the centering area. Your opponent does the same and you compare scores. Calculate the scoring unit strength for each player and add together. If equal to or less than 7 scoring unit strength, then convert US to VP for each player. Oh, this is another one. This has been tampered with by Shroud of the Reaper. If any more than 7 scoring unit strength on the table at the end, if only one player scored more than 7 scoring unit strength, then winner gets 7 VP. If both players have scoring unit strength, then work out the gap between scoring unit strength. If 0 unit strength gap, then draw both. Gain 3 VP. If 1 or 2 unit strength gap, then winner gets 4 VP and loser gets 3 VP. 3 or 4 unit strength gap, then winner gets 5 VP and the loser gets 2 VP. If 5 unit strength gap or 1, the winner gets 6 VP and the loser 1 VP.
It's fairly.
Otherwise, it'll probably degenerate into halfway through the game.
On about here, we've just had surely having majority of base in an area means you can't hold 2 sections.
Correct.
I'm in agreement on any scenario there. You don't hold 2 sections. If you can't hold 2 sections. The majority of a base in one section, you hold that section. You don't hold the other section. To me.
What we were talking about is picking, if you're exactly in between 2, which one you hold. So, yeah, you don't get both.
I think worst case scenario is that...
Kill. That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, it is. But if it's down to unit strength in a particular section and it can't be decided because you're exactly equal into each, the worst case scenario would be that we dice off, and that is absolutely worst case scenario, isn't it?
I mean, you've already said that.
Well, we're talking about dice.
Oof, swear words.
While we're talking about dice, a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Tim Roller. There we go. Everybody buy your 12-sided D6. As modelled on Kings or Fanatics by Tim Roller. There you go. Thanks. Nice one, Tim. Okay. There's the map. No big open area. No big map in the open. No big open bit in the middle for this one.
No.
Which is nice. There is
height for terrain.
there's a house on a hill. That'll be actually on the tables for the day.
Yeah.
According to my sources.
Fine.
Yeah.
Right, so Gold Rush, another Shroud of the Reaper one. Before rolling off to choose sides, place 7 loot counters on the board. The players take it in turns to place 1 loot counter each. Roll off to see who places the first loot counter. Victory points are awarded at the end of the game as follows. 1 victory point for each loot counter you control. So it's straight smash and grab.
It is a straight grab, and it's completely smash and grab. You can see it. It's right there. Just run across the table.
Oh,
you
look,
can
you
get
left.
to it.
You left the
I've put
Dubri
2 hills right in the middle.
Look.
You're fine.
No, you've left the Dubri on the house, look. When you took the
well,
screenshot.
I'm not bothered about leaving the Dubri on the house. Just keep moving.
How
Scroll on.
Is that a technical term? A Dubri?
It's Bob and his Dubris. I can't account for them.
Whatever Bob wants to do with his Dubri is up to him. I'm not judging.
Yeah, well, I judge all the time,
Jolly
but
good.
apparently it's just wrong.
Yeah.
I do love this.
See, you got all the squiggly lines and everything under the stuff on it. My OCD's just out doing flip flops at the moment. Okay, so push
OCD.
alternative 1. Source 3rd edition. Nice. Current, up to date. After both players have set up their forces, place 3 loot counters within the setup area, giving them to different units to carry if they wish, i.e. the same unit at the start of the game cannot carry more than 1 loot counter, but can carry more than 1 after setup.
Having multiple drop on 1 unit.
That's quite a big deal, that is.
It is a big deal, and I had to do it. This is Masters. I am not having everybody give push tokens at one side of a table and just drag them across.
But they can still do that because you can still put all 3 on the table under your unit. It just means you have to end a movement on it, which would slow them down slightly. Unless they have scout potentially, then you could go forward a little bit, grab it. That might work.
Yeah, just makes people think.
Yeah, and it is the last game, I think, isn't it?
It is the last game.
Thinking on the last game.
Well, I mean,
you know
been
what?
A bit boring.
But Bob's always had push as his scenario. Every tournament ever, we've sat back and it's like, what's the scenario? And Bob's automatically said push, regardless of what it was. It was always push. So last scenario is push in this, and I needed to make people think. I didn't want everybody just putting loot counters on one side of the table or whatever with their army. I want people to actually think, because we've set it up that this year our scoring is about scenarios. We're going for the whole Bull Shroud scoring system, which is a new thing for Masters to do. And I would like to actually see people think about the scenarios, because scenarios being worth 7 points, it's out of 10. So they get 3 points for the kill and 7 for the scenarios. So it's going to make a big deal. So, yeah, that last game was picked on purpose. And yes, table layout, be lucky and win your dice roll. That's all I can say.
Who doesn't like a hill in a deployment area?
I can think which side of the table I'd like to be on.
Well, you're not playing.
No, I'm not playing.
So there we go. That's the scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to do the draw? Shall we? Shall we do the draw? Well,
I was going to move swiftly on to table 1.
Yes, table 1.
Just bear with me a second. And if you can read this on the computer.
Oh, bless. Everybody's sat there saying, do you want me to do the draw? And it's like, yes, Jan. Go, Jan. Yeah. Table 1 is going to be Rich Laking and John Guns. So, Richard Laking, John Guns.
Oh. Well, I wasn't going to actually say John Guns until I brought the thing up, but there we go.
Yeah, well, you've already put Rich
May or may not
be John Guns. Do the rest of the draw.
We don't know yet. Well, let's wait and see. Let's be surprised.
Well,
right. So, Richard Laking with his Ratkin army. So it consists of
a thing of beauty. I do like this list.
Spam.
Yeah, it's a thing of beauty.
Of nightmares with blight cannons. Yeah, 3 regiments of Swarm Vermintide.
Oh, I'm sorry, Richard Laking.
1 regiment of Tunnel Runners with automatically put the Brew of Sharpness on that. It comes on, and the new companion automatically adds that. Tangle. Brute Enforcer, 2 of. Brood Mother Hero, 2 of, one of which has the Scrying Gem, just to force you to deploy out of over and above your normal deployment. And I'm not even going to attempt to say it. The Demon Spawn of Dew. I wasn't going to attempt to say it, and I just... Yeah, that's the one. So, what we have here is lots and lots of shooty. Not as much shooty as it was last time I faced this, actually, because it had some sort of cunningly redeployable shredder things that sat in the corner of the table and took my army off in lumps. But it still has the nightmares.
It's a nice list. I like this list.
So Richard's been doing quite well with his Ratkin recently. He came first at Cold Up North.
Well, he won the Ribble Rumble.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's only because I deliberately lost to him and let him.
He's got a lot of units. Good for all the scenarios. Looks
it has got a lot of units. He's got 14 drops, 23 unit strength. Quite a lot of that being obviously large infantry.
Yeah.
Not too many actual small ratty people in it. The Tangle.
I mean, it's like nice. Dwarves and a Bittle Dwarf army. You don't see many of them either.
Yeah. Right. Let's see what it's facing.
Who is it facing?
Let's have a look at Mr. Guns.
No, for next year, guys. When you're putting your army list.
It looks like Bob's cutting out.
You put your name on as John Guns.
Put your name on your list.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
Signal then?
And I'm sorry. Yes, you did.
Sorry. Right, so John's army list. A horde of men-at-arms retainers with life leech from your Hand Sanguinary Scripture. Brotherhood Centaurs with the Staying Stone. 2 regiments of Order of Redemption Cavalry. And they're the dudes with the regeneration. Yeah, Brew of Sharpness and Brew of Strength. Order
Richard,
of the Forsaken Large Cavalry.
Sleep well at night. Sorry, looking at the comments.
All right, I see.
It's not because you're a bad man at all, Richard. We believe you. Sure.
I'd love John's list as well.
So two votes.
Order of the Green Lady is quite something.
So you've got Sir Jesse's Boots of Striding and the Wine of Ovenkind. So a nimble flaying horde of cavalry. 18 attacks. Crushing Strength 1, Thunderous Charge 1. Nice. Woodland Critters. They're the swarm dudes, aren't they? Movement 6, Fly, Nimble, Pathfinder, Vicious. 2 Pegasi. Devoted Hero. Inspiring Talisman, Heal 3, Bane Chant 2, and Hex. Exemplar Redeemer Hero. So he's the large cavalry on a winged unicorn with the blade. I've lost it again now. Blade of the Beast Slayer, that's +2 crushing strength versus anything big. And Champion of the Green Lady, who's got lots and lots of rules. Crushing strength 2, individual, inspiring mighty rallying. Mounted on a horse, regeneration 4+ with Strider. Excellent. So, considering Richard's got a ton of shooting, close range shooting, backed up by the Tangle and his brood mothers, against what looks to be a very alpha strike with the 2 flaying hordes and the Pegasus and the actual cavalry as the second line. Order of the Green Lady Army. So, what do we think for this game? Richard versus John?
Personally, based on the terrain and recent performance, I'm going to go Richard. I mean, don't get me wrong, John's very good. He could certainly pull it off. But I'm not sure I want to be facing Richard on that table. I don't know. I'm going to go Richard.
I must admit, the open table does kind of favour Richard a lot. And I'm really sorry, John. That's my fault. I did choose an open table, but I am sure that you've got a couple of days to try and figure out how you're going to cope with it and look at the list. So, I'm actually going to go John. Personal thoughts. I do like the Green Lady list.
Oh, there we go. John says he beat Richard in tournament, so for him it's just another nice easy game. He's not concerned. Fair enough.
I don't think he's going to have too much of a problem. I think the scenario is the thing that you're playing for. So that centre zone is not actually that big a deal when it's a big open area. I think John could pull this one. No, Maggers, we're not playing push. We're playing hold the line in the middle. So you may want to recap, but I will be putting a link at the bottom end of our post that will show you the scenarios. We've got 5 scenarios. We've gone through them. And first scenario that everybody's coping with is hold the line, which you may have met before.
Okay. Table 2.
Sorry, John. My effigy, I'm sure, is going to be perfect.
Just for the record, I'm going for John for that one as well, because I think his flaying stuff can get in there and do enough damage. No, I was
me, Richard, who thinks you're going to win. Sorry.
Oh, well, there we go.
Oh, Andy 2D6 has asked if we can give a filth rating on a 1 to 5 scale for each list. So
I'm going to go with a 4. I'm sure there's much filthier lists out there, but it's certainly got a hint, a certain aroma of cheddar.
There's some cheddar out there. There's definitely some cheddar. I'm not sure just who's taking the most. Well, actually, I have got an absolute cheddar list, but it's not either of these.
Whereas John's is a blissful 2. It looks very nice.
So
Nice.
you're thinking Rich
Okay.
for the 4, John for the 2. What do you think, Bob?
I think somebody's going to get a dick punch.
Oh gosh,
Are we talking
poor
about
Andy
Andy
2D6. That's not a nice thing to threaten him with.
No, nothing to do with Mr. Ransom.
Oh, that's all right then. Is Mr. Hudson PMing you separately and being
No,
a
I am
complete...
trying to locate the said man's army list on the.
Ah, right. Yeah, said land. Yeah.
Would help
There
if
it
you told
is.
us the name of the list.
It's dwarves.
Right.
Yeah. The second table is Rod Hudson against Ed Herzig. Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
Dwarfs, I see it.
And really sorry,
There we
Ed.
go.
I had
So-
to put somebody against him, and you just came out of the hat.
Surprise! Let's keep it under the radar.
Yeah, well, it's Rob.
So he has 2 regiments and a horde of ironclad infantry, all with throwing mastiffs. 2 hordes of earth elementals.
Yeah, Kate Hudson.
1 mastiff hunting pack. 2 of the disgusting steel behemoth monsters, chariot filth. A battle driller. A stone priest. Hand, who apparently automatically gets added to Imperial Dwarf army lists. Saber Ironheart. 2 Dwarf Lord on Large Beast, which are
Only 2.
now only 175 points.
Yeah, well, he
worth
did
of
think
crap.
about 3, but apparently that's how overpowering things, and he was being all snobbish about, taking the power of 3.
Because three doesn't work. 3 doesn't work. They just get in each other's way.
Overpowering.
Honestly, that looks like a nice list. Infantry, bit of a mixture.
It's
reasonable.
balanced. I think it's the correct word. It's a very balanced list.
The one thing I do know is there's no Martyr's Prayer, so he can't actually heal his earth elementals. That's a shame.
No.
It's not a shame.
It is a suboptimal list. It is a suboptimal list, and I'll tell you why it's a suboptimal list. Because at the top there, where it says Imperial Dwarfs, it should say Free Dwarfs. Then it'd be an optimal list.
I would go for a 2 for this one. It seems like a nice mixed list. Very nice.
Yeah, it does seem a bit pants, apart from the 2 steel behemoths and Faber Ironheart.
Oh, I reckon he can do well with it. But
he'll do very
nice
well
mixes.
with it. He's just a complete Torag for doing well with it.
He always does, because what he'll do is he'll chat his opponent to death till they time out, and then surprisingly win.
And no, he's facing Ed.
What is
He's
the time
facing
limit?
Ed, who is the
55?
absolute gentleman of the game.
Ed says you can't call that a soft list.
No, that's
Sorry,
not
Ed.
a soft list, and I'm
I'm
very
very
sorry, Ed.
Soft. You just wanted an easy game. Sorry, Ed.
There's no such thing as an easy game at Masters, though, is there?
Not usually.
Well, if there is, then somebody's not taking it seriously, or they want the beautiful spoon. Because I must admit, the spoon prize is absolutely amazing. But we'll show
Has
the
the
prizes.
spoon been revealed? It's very pretty.
Okay, Ed's list.
Right, so Ed's list. We have Hunters of the Wild, 2 troops and 2 regiments, one of which has the hammered force.
I am already hammered.
Force.
Measure. How much have you had to drink?
Oh.
Well,
just had a
I didn't
really
think he'd
long
have
day
a
at
drink
work.
before I got home, but I'm not sure.
I haven't, to be honest. It's just something's got the neurons in the peanut that resides in my head firing the wrong way. Forest Shamblers, a regiment and 2 hordes of Forest Shamblers, 2 regiments of Scorchwings, 2 Greater Air Elementals.
I saw that. Oh,
1 Keris.
The new Keris. Keris is very good.
The new Keris. All right, I wouldn't know. I've not come across the new Keris.
Wow.
Glade Walker Druid Hero with the Ring of Harmony, Crown of the Wizard King to extend the range and heal 4, Surge 8. Unicorn Hero with the Conjurer's Staff. How does it hold the Conjurer's Staff?
it doesn't
That's a
matter how it
question
holds
for you.
it. It might
Shove it
have
up
to be
its arse.
stale. It doesn't matter.
And a Tree Herder who has had the upgrade to the Wiltfather, because why not?
Well,
I like that list.
it's another beautiful, fluffy list. Honestly, this one I'm going to go for a pure 1. It's just an epitome of loveliness. A 1. It's just lovely.
It is a beautiful list. I do love Ed's list. And, you
lovely.
couldn't take a Druid Gladestalker without having the Ring of Harmony. So, yeah. I might go for a 3, not a 1, but...
I think I'd probably go for a 2 or a 3 just because it's got the bloody Wiltfather in it. Horrible things. And the thing that everybody seems to have overlooked in the lovely fluffiness is the 2 Greater Air Elementals lurking about.
All right, maybe it's not really a 1.
Hanging around in the middle of the list. Look.
It might actually be a 3.
With the Glade Walker Druid with the extended range, you can surge at 18 inches.
Yeah, but he's not gone all elemental. And I will say, you guys have only just been given access to the lists. I had to review the lists on Sunday and do all the rest of it. This is beautiful and fluffy compared to another elemental list that you'll come across later. So, in fact, it's on the next table. So you're going to have the nastiness of elementals in a minute. I think this is definitely a 3. This is not.
No, you're right. It's a 3.
Bad thing.
But Ed is such a gentleman. It will feel like a soft, smooth 1.
Oh, it will. It'll just glaze over everything. Because Ed is an absolute gent.
How do we think the lovely, fluffy forces of nature will do against the scummy Imperial Dwarfs then?
It's going to
in the hold the line scenario.
It's going to crush them all under its leaves.
I'm going to go for it's going to crush them all because I'm probably going to dick punch Rob half a dozen times during his game.
Well, he won't be watching because it's about an hour after his bedtime, so we should be all right.
Yeah. Well, I don't care. He can watch all he wants. He's well overdue. A number of the box full of dick punches I've got saved up for him. So
it's worth
about
noting
20 odd years worth, I think.
But Ed's one of the more consistent players in the country. He's the only player who's, as of this weekend, gone to every single Masters. It was also me, but sadly, this breaks my record. But Ed, he's been to every single one. No one else could say that now.
Even if he wasn't invited, he just turns up.
I know, he just turned up. It's rude.
He just turns up, just appears. It's like a groupie. So
well, I'll tell you what, I will look after him very well at weekend. And, yeah. Oh, Dan's gone. I'm sure
that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was nothing to do with me. I didn't press anything. Right, so which unit has the feather of massaged horse, apparently?
So that's 2 votes for Ed. Go on, what are you doing, Bob?
Well, just as a sheer matter of the fact it's Imperial Dwarfs, I'm going to vote for Ed.
Sorry,
fair enough.
I mean,
right.
It is what it is.
Our next table 3, is George Kirk. Right. And this is not the nastiness of elements that I'm on about, but you will see it in a minute.
What's he called his list?
Oh, God, you're asking me now.
Is it FON UK Masters? Put your name in it.
No, the FON UK Masters 3 is our Spur list, which is our Spur player. Let me just find George's list. Bottomy bollocks.
Is it Wrath of the Elements? Hard Day's Night?
I have no idea. I don't even know what he's using.
He's using Night Stalkers. It's George.
Come on, George.
I'm trying to find the list now. It's in amongst them all. And why can I not see half the lists there? Right, okay. Let's go back in.
Sorry, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
But if people named their list correctly, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Oh, I just couldn't be bothered to rename everybody's lists. I thought,
Might have been a benefit.
Tell you what, this is a bunch of masters.
I don't think we've got his list. It's not here.
It is there.
Oh, I don't see it.
It should be there. I did upload.
Andy, Chris, a random
right.
FON.
Oh, do you want to move on to the really nasty lists, the Wrath of Elements, and I will make sure that the other lists there.
Yeah,
because Wrath of the Elements is facing George.
Right, so this
is Mike Smith.
His opponent.
Who's his opponent?
Broke my computer.
Oops.
How broken?
We appear to have lost Janice as well.
No, you haven't.
No, Jan and me are fine.
Are we all back here now?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the list uploaded onto the thing to make sure everything's matching.
So whose is this?
Right, so this is Mike Smith.
This is Mike Smith. And I will be very honest, this is my 5 out of 5 filth list.
So we have Hunters of the Wild Heavy Infantry Troop, 2 hordes of fire elementals, a horde of Scorchwings with Blessing of the Gods, nice, a greater air elemental, a beast of nature with all these apart from the breath, 2 druids, 1 on a forest steed with the Conjurer's Staff, Bane Chant 2, Surge 4, Heal 2, and 1 on Shanks's pony with the Crown of the Wizard King, Bane Chant 2, Surge 4, Heal 2. Gladewalker Druid on a steed with the Ring of Harmony and the Loot of Insatiable Darkness, Bane Chant 2, Surge 8, and Barkskin 5. And their formation.
That feels like a lot of druids.
So you've got
perhaps
2 hordes. Yeah, there is 3 druids. Well, there's two normal druids and a Glade Walker druid.
I was just running one with the ring.
You've got the horde.
I found it was okay.
Well, Mike has obviously decided that 3 is the magic number. And we've got Mead of Madness on the one of the hordes, Fire Oil on the other horde.
I don't know that.
Must have had 5 points left over. And Wind Blast on the second Greater Air Elemental. So that's the full Monty, That's 2 hordes and 2 greater, 3 druids, 2 lots of fire elementals. Ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to face this list. I've got to hold my hands completely up. I play Fluff's Nature. I've played Herd for like forever, as everybody knows. And this list, Mike, just filth. Dirty boy.
So I've run Nature not too long ago. I found the formation okay, but it's for greater that shines, and it's only got 1. I don't think it's super optimized, to be honest.
It's got 2.
So he's got the second.
He's got 2.
Oh, my mistake. Okay,
yeah,
fine then.
Yeah, he's got that one there, and then he's got the one in the formation.
Fine then. Okay.
The formation comes with one, doesn't it? So he's got 2 wind blasty dudes.
To me, this list is just dirty.
I'm not personally convinced by the formation, but
no, the formation isn't the be all and end all. It is.
I found the basic hordes of their elementals die. They'll kill something and then they die. In 1 usually. If he plays it well, could do well.
Well, we will see how poor George goes on about it. I do believe I have managed to get the list in there for George's list now, so you should be able to get it.
I'll give Mike's list a free.
In where?
In the Dropbox.
You're going to ask me to log on to Dropbox in the middle of the live stream? Ooh,
right, fine.
Computer not like that. Right, here we go. If everything goes dark...
Most things still shamble, Andy.
It's because I've broken it.
Yeah, shambling when you're a greater air elemental is not shambling, though, is it?
The greater elementals are fantastic. I'm just not super convinced by the hordes of air elementals.
Yeah, well, shambling at 10, it's like, yeah, okay. That's like double the movement of many units. Have you managed to get George's list up? I'm sorry, Bob. It's all my fault.
I've not even...
There looks to be pain. I shouldn't say this, but, you know. Sorry.
Can you read it out, Jan, while Bob's finding it?
I shall find...
Just talk amongst yourselves.
I shall open the list. I've found the list and made sure it's there.
What's it called?
George Kirk.
The one that was missing out of the previous one.
Yeah. It wasn't missing. You just couldn't see it. They were all there. I'm hoping they are still all there, to be honest. I did count them at one point.
Was it a point when you were drunk?
Can I take the fifth on that one? Because I can't actually recall ever being sober. But yeah. Do you want me to read this list?
Start, and then when it appears.
Mr. Kirk's list is a regiment of Night Stalkers, doppelgangers with brew sharpness. So, doppelgangers, brew sharpness, nasty, nasty. 2 hordes of scarecrow infantry, normal. 2 troops of phantoms. I don't rate them, but obviously George does. And he's in the Masters, I'm not, so it says a lot. A horde of butchers. Then we go for the 3 mind screeches. All of them with mind fog and wind blast and lightning bolt. Shakira, the Wailing Shadow, who has Enthrall, and
3 void lurkers.
Yep.
As you do.
Well, obviously. So, Chalice of Wrath, Mead of Madness, and Talk of Dissonance.
Whatever that does.
I'm not 100% sure on that one. Something just bingled.
There it is.
Talk of Dissonance. Once per game at the start of your ranged phase, choose an enemy unit with a spellcaster tier within 12 inches. Choose one of the spells known to that unit during the enemy player's following turn. The unit may not use the chosen spell. All right.
Surge.
Selective fuckover.
I agree that 3 is the magic number, and I've said this for a long time, but people all sit back and say, oh, it's filth.
So
it all depends what it's on. If it was 3 bloody air elementals, I'd not be convinced, but yeah. 3 void
like George's list.
Well, with Brock Riders.
Go on.
3 Brock Riders as troops or hordes isn't a problem. And 3 void
No, I was thinking more 8 is the magic number for Brock Riders.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
So, I think this is a decent list. It might be some optimal choices. I'm probably going to go for a 4 here.
I actually still think a 3. I think he's fairly balanced because at the end of the day, I am fairly much in agreement that that's his way of balancing out other people's stuff. Having been a Night Stalkers player, I'm not a person that's going to sit back and say, don't take 3 void lurkers. I can think of better things to have.
I'm not saying he shouldn't, but it's not entirely fluffy. George is going to do very well.
The sort of person that brings a bazooka to a knife fight.
Yeah, no.
So, who do we think is going to win this one? Again, bearing in mind it's quite open table.
I will sit back and I will say that Mike's list is hideous. Can I sit back and say that again?
He's
got plenty of small. He's got that small surge, the two 4-inch surge and the 8-inch surge. One of which can surge at 18 inches, but
correct.
At least once after all the manoeuvrings going in, this talk of dissonance can get rid of one of those.
It could.
For me, I feel that George's list in this scenario and the table he's got the edge. I think George is going to win this one.
I hope you're right, but I actually think it's going to be Mike, so I'm going to have to go the other way. You've got far better skills on that side of things, but I think Mike's list if he uses it to full optimal kind of stuff, it's going to be nasty.
So you can say the same about George's. So
yeah, George is very capable. I know this. He's like chair of the committee and the rest of it, but scenario wise, list wise, yeah, I'm still favouring Mike.
Well, that's 1-1 for now. What about you, Bob?
I'm going to go for George just for the sheer 3 Void Lurker thing. I just think, all right, the greater air elementals and flying around and all those stuff, but 3 Void Lurkers just deserves to romp all over stuff. Whether it will do or not, I don't know, but we'll find out at the end.
They will.
It deserves to. You've only ever faced one, so
I know.
Yeah.
No, I faced 2. I faced 2 at the Undercroft. Rad BN had 2 Void Lurkers.
Okay.
Right. So after that, table 4.
Max Mayardell.
See, his list does have his name in it. Thank you, Max.
Can you find it? Is it there?
Max.
Ogres.
Uh-huh.
Shooters, Horde of 3 regiments of warriors for the unlocks. The Teeth Shield, Siege Breakers, a Horde with the Chalice of Wrath, and a Horde Dog Wrangler. Sergeant Hero with the heavy crossbow ×2. Nice. That's 10 nasty shots flicking across the table. Ogre Warlock. Yeah, Crocodile Wrangler. It's a small goblin trying desperately to hold on to some sort of large reptile. It's useful for stopping flayers from landing in your back area. Can attack through ogres' legs and things like that.
No,
and then 3
landing in back areas, aren't you?
3 Ogre Warlock heroes. 1 with the Conjurer's Staff, Lightning Bolt 3, Drain Life 5, Lightning Bolt 3, Drain Life 5, and Lightning Bolt 3. That's a lot of lightning bolts when they're standing next to all them ogres.
Oh, yeah.
Power-ups. Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, Matron. Northern Alliance allies. A regiment of Icekin Hunters.
One of our very
it's in the thing. Because allies were allowed in the whole of 2022's tournament season.
And I didn't
allies
rule them
and
out.
playing with draw because that's how the people qualified, being able to use withdraw and allies. So we kept them in.
I tried to keep it as close to the Green Book as I could.
And a Lord on Chimera, because why not?
Yeah, Lord on Chimera is always interesting. I must admit, it's quite a nice list. Do we want to go on to the next list, which is Andy Marshall, who's facing Max?
Max's list solid. I'll give that a 3, I think.
It is a very solid list. I'd actually give it a 4. And I like the allies. I think they did quite a bit for it, really. So, Mr. Marshall.
I mean, we're talking about filth, though. 4 level filth?
Okay, so...
Yeah. I wouldn't call it filthy. So, yeah, probably 3, though.
2 regiments of Kingdoms of Men.
Yeah, all that shooting's going to have fun on that.
Shield Wall Infantry. 2 troops and a regiment of Foot Guard. 3 regiments of Fanatics. 2 troops of Mounted Sergeants. They're the non-shooty lighter cavalry. 2 giants, one with a cleaver for the old Slayer and one with Rampage on the old club. Army Standard Bearer with the loot of Insatiable Darkness for Bane Chant, always useful when you've got men. 3 Generals on Winged Beast, Mead of Madness, Dwarven Ale, Blade of Slashing. So 16 units for a total unit strength of 27, which is always nice in a scenario like Hold the Line.
Is
If
that
you
the
can get
highest
the
so
stuff
far?
there, it's just whether it
That
can
is the
stand
highest so
the
far for
storm
unit
of
strength.
stand the storm of piercing 2 shooting.
So I was actually going to say
28 shots at hitting on 5, piercing 2.
This is quite a fluffy list until we got to the end and saw those flyers. So
There's not much fluff there, actually.
I quite like the list. At the end of the day, Andy's going to be, as much as what he wants to win, and everyone does, he's going to be going for the best painted as much as anything. So I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. And it's a nice mixed list. I like it. I think those 3 flyers at the end push it up to a 3. Otherwise, I was going to go lower. But
You were going for a 2, weren't you?
I was, but no, I think those 3 push it up to a 3. It's just a nice, solid list. It's going to look good, I'm sure. You might get shot to death, Andy. That's true, but you'll look good doing it.
Oh, difficult one. I like Max's list. I really do like Max's list.
The shooting's going to hurt, but I think Andy might have this. I've just got a feeling. I don't know.
Well, it's a lot of stuff to chew through for the ogres, and really the ogres, the ogres, apart from the Chimera, is mostly a defensive formation with the shield breakers, the siege breakers. Sorry, the shooters. The 3 regiments of warriors really is the standing in place of the chaff. It's the lightning bolts and the shooting. He's going to try and have to get rid of as much as he can at long range before it's in his face. The giants will absorb a lot of that fire rank, leaving lots of fanatics and little foot dudes to run in, and then the general on winged beasts mop up afterwards.
So what I will say about the giants, it is a bit of a shame that one of them has the giant club. Obviously, versus ogres, 2 slayers would have been lovely, but against other armies,
yeah, but it's choosing. You know, you're not going to always face that, and you can always select what goes where. Even without the extra D6, it's still D6 plus 8. Crushing strength 4, it's still going to turn ogres into jam, just not as many.
I'm going to go with Andy for the win here.
I don't want to do it. I'm going for Andy for the win.
Why don't you want to do it? He's a lovely
I don't want to do it because I like ogres. I've always really
as an ogre.
Yeah, well,
as an
I've
ogre player, I can think about all the stuff.
Matter.
So 3-0 for Andy. Sorry, Max. I mean, your list looks
Max.
Solid, but we've got all the confidence in Andy.
Max's game team. Well, Andy says it's all you, Max. It's you.
He says that now. Then at the end of the game, how did you do? Oh, I tabled him. Sorry, I don't know how it happened.
Well, maybe it's the fact that we all backed Andy that he'll have issues, but who knows?
Sorry, Andy, we're not trying to pressure you. I do like your list. I think you'll do well.
Well, Mr. Lakin, we don't want to put that pressure on Max. He's going to cope just fine.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Tom Robinson himself.
Yeah.
The current master.
Yeah, our next set is Mr.
The Tom Robinson.
So let's have a look at his Varangurlis.
Okay, so regiment of Night Raider infantry exchanging the throwing axes for bows with the wolf handlers. That gives them the vicious aura and scout.
That's interesting. So
on all three regiments have exchanged the throwing axes for bows. I generally tend to find that as soon as you put the bows on them, because they lose the steady aim, they then become a bit suboptimal, to use the word I don't really like using.
If Tom's done it, he'll have a very good reason for it, and it will be amazing. I'm just a bit surprised.
It always is.
Oh, yes.
That's just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, then we've got two Mounted Sons of Korgan cavalry regiments, one with the Blessing of the Gods and the other with the Chant of Hate, both of them with stealthy. Then we've got Snow Fox Swarm, two regiments of two Lord on Frostfangs, because they are nice still. One with a Snow Fox and the Blade of Flashing, for frig's sake, slashing, and the other with the Snow Fox. Got somebody else's teeth in tonight, I think. Krufnir, who's the Snow Troll character with the Bring Me Their Head thing, which turns in a unit with it. Is it within 12 inches into a duelist or something like that? So
any unit as well.
Imagine Sons of Korgan attacking it. Yeah, any unit. And then two Lords on Chimera. Wow.
So if we were to speak to Tom about this, he would say it's a fun list that he's just doing just for a bit of a laugh. He'll still do very, very well with it regardless.
It's going to be fluffy. We already know that Tom is going to say this is fluffy.
It's excellent. Can we see the unit strength and stuff?
Yeah. It's a deceptive list, I think, this one. Because normally he uses the Night Raiders with the axes, get in there close and bombard people with the piercing one shooting. Interesting. And
so he's only got
if I can find it.
So he's only got 19 unit strength. That is lower, and it's only 12 drops. Tom's going to use it very well.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go for a 4.
I think 4 too. To be honest,
it's borderline 3. He'll use it very well.
Yeah.
He's not a 5, which my Mike Smith moment kind of really kicked off with me. So yeah, no, I think he's a 4.
I think he's challenged himself for a bit with scenarios. He's not got a huge number of units or unit strength, but he's got those little individual, those little heroes that are great for these sort of scenarios. So.
Well, we need to place him against his actual peer. So on the table is Richard Tomlinson.
I'm assuming this is Richard's army because it's the only one
5 days night.
that doesn't have a name on it. So, ordering lady. A regiment of retainers.
I'll be back in a second.
2 hordes of Order of the Brotherhood cavalry. 2 hordes of cavalry. One with the banner of the Green Lady and the other with Sir Jesse's boots of striding. Wow. Order of Redemption Regiment with the Brew Sharpness. Order of Forsaken, that's the flaying dudes with the pipe of terror to make them brutal. 3 Pegasi. 1 Devoted Hero Cavalry with the Conjurer's Staff. Heal 3, Bane Chant 2. Radiance of Life for Sacred Water, so I'm assuming that affects all the major dudes. Another spellcaster with the Radiance of Life, Forest Steed, Heal 3, Bane Chant 2, Veil of Shadows, that's the Aura of Stealthy spell, isn't it? Exemplar Redeemer on a Winged Unicorn, the regeneration, and a Champion of the Green Lady with all the rules. So Rallying, Sacred Water, Regeneration 4+ Strider. It is.
It's solid.
It certainly has some dice power with those 2 hordes of cavalry.
Yeah, but the issue really is Richard. He's a good player, but he did finish 20th. Tom finished 2nd and didn't actually go to many tournaments. I'm sorry, Richard. I think you've got a hard match up here. I really do. I'm going to go with Tom.
Okay.
Hordes used well can be great, but if your opponent,
no,
I think it's a brave move bringing hordes of knights to Masters, because if your opponent does one of many little things, it can just mess hordes up all game. Tom will do all those little things that mess them up. If those hordes kill anything that Tom doesn't want them to kill, I'll be amazed.
Did Tom not take a horde of Rhodian cavalry to Masters last year? Or am I mistaken?
No, he did. There was beautiful Kislev ones, weren't they? They did get stuck for a good chunk of the game, but he also had quite a lot of units. I mean, don't get me wrong, Richard might be a master of hordes, and they could be really great for him all game. But I just find that if any unit's going to get stuck, it'll be a horde of knights.
Yeah.
Who do you think for the win?
But with those in Bowman, the 2 Chimera Lords and the of Korgan, I think Tom's got some sort of plan in mind. As we all know, he practices a lot and he's a machine, so I'm going to have to go with Tom, unfortunately.
Like you, John?
Although, however much across in the path,
I mean, he's
I
the only
think on that
going,
table.
So.
Well, yeah, but you forget that I'm not actually a northerner, so
you weren't born
in the
north.
One of those
you
things.
Adopted the north.
To be honest, this is 2 northerners facing off, so this is not the best of cases for
this is
northerners.
True. I got mixed up. I thought Tom was the only northerner. I thought Richard was Midlands. Apologies.
He's Midlands, but
no, we've got James Mitchell as well.
Further up north. The people further up north say that, anybody below Carlisle and the boundaries don't count. So I'm going to count them both as northerners, but I'm going to back Rich just because I want somebody to back Rich. So Richard Tomlinson, Go boy.
It's very, very noble, but misguided, Tom. Tom's going to
win. It is probably very misguided.
We shall see. We shall see. We've seen upsets before. We shall see what happens.
Not from Tom, first game.
No, right. I can't see Tom losing the first game, but I'm going to go for Rich just to back the underdog.
Good luck, Rich. You need it.
So, over halfway through then. So, table 6, our first.
Mr. Quayle.
I think Bob's.
Has he frozen again? Bob, you're frozen.
Okay, so we've got
What?
John Quayle.
No, I'm not.
You froze. Hola.
Oh, did I? Oh, do you want to build a snowman then? Okay,
Well,
so John Quayle's
sure.
Masters list. 4 hordes of scarecrows.
This is nasty.
2 troops of them things that you don't like, that you don't rate.
Oh.
Phantomies. They appear to be making a comeback.
No, it's not that I don't
Soul
like them, I
Flayers.
just don't find them useful.
Did
Oh,
John
look,
not realise
three regiments of Soul Flayers.
Did he not realise they're not speed?
Yeah, obviously, John's behind the times because these are no longer of any use, shape or form
Well, that's
on
going
the
to be a surprise to him.
battlefield. Apparently, according to Night Stalker pages on Facebook.
Wow. Yeah.
One of which is the Blade of Slashing, one is the Mace of Crushing, and the other has the Helm of the Drunken Ram for the extra thunderous charge. Nice. 2 Mind Screech, the Halfway House. 2 Horror Riftweaver monsters, which were originally invented just to give you something to do with all them extra horrors you got in the Mega Army set.
I was there.
The Dream Hunter. What with the Dream Hunter?
No, for Riftweavers.
All right, but you don't see the Dream Hunter very often. Most people take Shakira, don't they? Crushing Strength 1, Dread, Elite, Melee, Individual, Life Leech 2, Mighty Mindthirst, Stealthy, Unleashed Nightmares. Okay, and then 2 Butcher, Dread, Flesh Rippers, and Dread Fiend Hero. I did wonder whether that would make an appearance.
Decent unit strength.
Useful.
I love a
piece of
Dread
kit, that
Fiend
is.
Hero. I think there is. They're even better if you give them Wings of the Honey Maze, but
17 drops.
You can't give Wings of Honey Maze to a Dread Fiend Hero because it's a large cavalry.
no, but you really should be able to.
But Jan is right. They would be better with it. All you got to do is cheat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just one of those dreams.
I'm sure.
I've sat there.
I'm sure the companion probably allows you to put Wings of Honey Maze on it. It's just sneaking it past the TO into the tournament, isn't it? Oh
well,
yes,
you know,
fine,
I've had a
fine.
little
Jan
bit
would
of
have been
that
fine with
going
it.
on this time.
Yeah.
Look
Oh
up.
yeah, it goes down to Defense 3 though. Yeah. I'll just put it on my Earth Elemental.
Yeah. The Wings of Honey Maze should be able to go on most things, shouldn't it?
Defense
used to
5
be,
Titan flying around the table.
I think it did used to be. Back in.
Yeah, you could put it on a chariot. You could put it on a chariot because Jonathan Fawkes made it a chariot
Flying
hero.
Chariot. I remember.
I could
The
see
Wings
that
of
one
Honey
working.
Maze. And then sold
Anyway,
for 3
back to
years
the
because
list.
he got taken off him.
Let's not let you guys
yeah.
get distracted too much.
That's
Alright,
what
I'm
we're
drinking
doing here,
moonshine.
isn't it?
Extract away, I'm fine.
Right. So that's a fairly tough list. That I think, especially with the Soul Flayers, the Hordes of Chaff, the Phantom Flyers, a couple of Mind Screeches, so some nice shooting there. The Horror Rift Weavers, giving the old Spell Ward and the Dread.
Mm.
I don't
The
think
Dream
it's quite
Hunter,
as scary as George's.
Dread again there.
It's not as scary as
It's not,
George's.
but it's a bit more all round than George's.
It's got
it is.
It's got a lot of capability, and I think it's going to take a lot of taking out.
I think it's a great scenario list. It may well do better in these scenarios. I'm going to give this a 3.
I'm actually going to give this one a 4.
A 4? You think it's that filthy?
A 4? A 4?
Near maximum
I think
filth.
that this has
Just
got
below.
a small amount of secret filth about it. Yes.
Secret filth, right.
I think you got
Secret
sticking
filth.
your
Stealth
dream hunters
filth.
and all sorts of other bits and pieces on the top of it all. And yeah, I'm not sure about the Rift Weavers, but
so are you just thinking at some point over the weekend John's going to reveal his secret filth to everybody and everyone will like, oh,
I hope not.
fair enough. I mean,
I'd have to
John.
cope with that.
Yeah.
Right, and John's opponent now has to be applauded for the army list and derided
it's
for the
Danny
fact that
Graves. So sorry, Danny. Pulled you out against him. I do love my free dwarves, though.
Pseudo free dwarf list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not enough Brocks. So we have 4 regiments of ironclad infantry in vain. What? Well, it's in vain imitation of an Imperial Dwarf army, isn't it? They get dressed up and like go out there. Free Dwarf Berserkers, which are hopefully under this new edition going to make a bit of a comeback with the Slayer D6, the Thunderous Charge, as well as the Vengeance. Makes them nice and useful for a change. Free Dwarf Brock Riders Cavalry, a troop and a regiment. I think I think that's just a nod to the Free Dwarfs, to be honest. 4 Mastiff hunting packs, all with throwing Mastiffs.
Greater Elementals.
Kragoth and Colarm for the scouting, self-inspiring, and the fireball. Hernius the Hunter with the skewer, always useful.
And you've got to have a Mastiff on Munchberries.
Packmaster Hero, love. Yes, Mastiff Munchberries, fantastic on your front line there, makes them all hit forward, and then he runs in and starts sniping off characters. Because it always hits on a 4, no matter where they hide, what cover they've got behind, etc., etc. As long as you can get line of sight to him, he hits on a 4+ with piercing 1 and vicious. Berserker Lord Hero with the Wings of Honey Maze, and 1 on a Brock mount with the Blade of Slashing, and Spheric Egilax. So, what do we think against the Night Stalkers?
So
it can unload a lot of hurt in one round. This with the dogs.
It is quite shooty,
and it is quite shooty when it negates all of the shooting, apart from the Hernius. It negates the stealthy, because the Mastiffs and the Packmaster always hits on a 4+.
3 out of 5 filth, I think. Could be filthy.
3 out of 5. Well,
average filth.
If you think about it, you've got the 4 regiments of Mastiffs, which, although the swarms, the nerve is 11-13, so it's not too bad. They've got quite a nifty move, bit of mobility there. Then backing them up, you've got 4 regiments of Ironclad, which, again, throw Mastiffs at you and then get stuck in. All the time you've got the Kragoth floating about, who can use his square base and his Strider to go in there and hit flanks, support units, that sort of thing. Spheri does that as well, very, very well, as long as you don't get him into terrain. And then you've got the Wingy Kingy bloke and the other guy are there to really piss flyers off.
It's solid. So what would you go for filth level?
For that,
go on.
I'd say that's around about a 3 that on a filth level, because it's not really that filthy, but it has got not enough Brocks in
Exactly. I think you nailed it at the start. Needs more Brocks. For me, if you're going to run Spheri Eagleaxe with the Wild Charge Aura, you need more Berserkers than that. I don't think he's a great unit by himself unless you've got a lot of Berserkers. I'm not sure there's quite enough for me, but it's solid.
Well, there's the foot Berserkers, and then there's it's a 2.
So what? Plus the characters
for me. I've played Night Stalkers for a long time, and I'm sat here and I'm looking at Maggers saying dogs love Night Stalkers. Well, I've munched absolutely loads of dwarves and these throwing mastiff things. So I can sit back and I can say, yeah, no, this list wouldn't worry me as a Night Stalker player.
Oh, fair enough.
Well, so you faced me, Bob, with your dwarves, and you know full well that my Night Stalkers would just romp all over that.
So you think 2 then, Jan? And do you think John's going to win it?
I think John's going to have that one.
You, Bob?
I am torn, actually. I am torn.
You just want to support the dwarves.
Well, it's loyalty, isn't it? But unfortunately,
it is.
Having played John's Night Stalkers, but then Danny's probably played John's Night Stalkers, so I reckon it could go either way. But I am going to tip. I'm going to tip towards the dwarves.
Oh.
I'm gonna go for John.
Okay, so 2 for Night Stalkers, 1 for Danny. Sorry, Danny. I would normally completely back you, but I am a Night Stalker lover.
I'm not sure what that means, but don't worry about it.
Okay. Table 7.
Table 7, Simon Brand. This is a table that's going to be completely midway and completely interesting.
Yeah. So,
Andy, we are remembering the scenario to the list. So, Mr. Moonrakers, completely remembering it is.
Yes. We completely remember the scenario. What was the scenario? No, we're completely remembering the scenario.
Hold the line. Yes. On the table with a big open bit in the middle. So, Mr. Brand's racking.
I think, Ed, that there's a cheerier rat list here. Just
how do you define cheerier? Do we have pom poms?
Cheesier. Ooh.
Oh, cheesier, right? Yeah. I was going to say. We love racking. Like yes, we
cheerier, do. Actually, I thought that was quite sweet.
Isn't Ed a professor of language? Obviously not a professor of typing, no. He's going to batter me next time. I think he's a professor of
Middle Eastern Studies.
All right.
Middle Eastern Studies sounds
Oxford
good.
Oxford University.
It's better than blue cheese. Blue cheese studies probably isn't.
No, he's not a minister of blue cheese or any sort of cheese that I know.
Yeah.
In any case,
Middle Eastern Studies. Does that involve seeing a lot of people stood there like this?
We're not going to go for that. Let's go back to the list and go through size list before we get completely sidetracked.
Okay. Right, where were we? Oh, yes, plague pots. 2 regiments of shock troops with plague pots. A horde of wretches. 2 hordes of nightmares with the old blight cannon-y things.
I'm blessing of the gods.
Apparently, he's not a professor of turning off autocorrect. Excellent.
Oh, Ed, we love you.
Right. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, 2 swarms of Vermintide. 2 regiments of tunnel runners. The one with the drunken ram for the extra thunderous, one with the brew of sharpness for cheese. 1 weapon team war engine. That's the 12-inch range one, using 1 steady aim. A tangle. Brute enforcer with the diadem of dragonkind. Something you don't see a right lot of anymore. Used to be de rigueur for putting on all sorts of things, that. And then they made it a fireball instead of like a breath weapon. And 2 brute enforcers in their underpants as they come. Brood mother with drain life and veil of shadows. And now 16 drops, 28 unit strength, even more than the kingdoms of men. The Orb of Towering Presence, that's the one that increases your unit strength to 2,
it
doesn't it?
increases unit strength.
As long as you're not individual or flayer.
Yep.
Drain Life and Scorched Earth. What's the Scorched Earth? That's the one that's a bit like makes you automatically hindered when you charge into combat.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Like a bit like weakness or something like that, isn't it?
I think this is
Scorched hindered. Loses Strider and Pathfinder special rules for the duration of its next turn. Well, that's not bad. Veil of Shadows, stealthy. So those 2 brood mothers are there to do a lot of the army with the old support.
Found this
make stuff stealthy. Make stuff and hold board quarters with their increased unit strength. Oh, very, very versatile. And then, of course, the Drain Life, when they're getting close, they can start healing stuff off because there's not a right lot of that anywhere else, is there? Weakness one on the Tangle. So a lot of, again, a lot of short-ranged shooting.
It's powerful. I don't think it's...
With the Blight cannons, the Blight thrower. Again, it's got a lot. It's got a lot of. When you look at them, they're not much, but together, I think that's quite a. It's going to be quite a difficult army to beat.
I agree,
especially with a player of size caliber.
And I think I'd give that a 3 out of 5 filth level. It's moderate. It's good.
I'm just completely wondering if I've missed something myself, actually.
Well, those tunnel runners are nasty.
That orb, it is allowed on there, isn't it?
Yes, it's not allowed.
It is allowed on there because it's not an individual or a flyer.
Yeah,
it's not a general on winged beast.
Yeah, not going there.
And we're not rubbing it in. Just pointing it out. That's all. The companion allowed you to do it.
Pointing it out. It's my brain suddenly went into lockdown.
And who's Sai playing? Oh no, I've put a beer ring on the.
Sai is playing that lovely Chris Lynch block.
Oh dear!
Really sorry, Sai.
I was all set to go for Sai, and then you said Chris Lynch. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Maybe he's bringing a fluffy army.
He is the magic number, especially when it's.
Bloody hell, look at all that shooting.
Yeah.
We're back now. I don't know what happened there.
Sorry.
There is, but some of it's short bows. So take comfort in the fact that some of it's only got 18-inch range on the nimble cavalry dudes. Look, Dracon Riders with the blue sharpness.
It is a little bit beyond.
I know, but I mean, speed 10. But
we'll not think about that too much.
They've only got 7 shots.
Apart from the regiment at the bottom.
Yeah. Dracon Riders with the blue sharpness, mentioned those.
Oh yeah.
Elven
The elf
Archmage,
shooting
whose
is
horse
completely
is
dead. I've heard this so many times.
his horse is wearing the boots of levitation.
How would that work? Because you've got 2 boots. So do you stick it on diagonals? 2 on the front, 2 on the back? Does the
I'm not
mage wear?
quite sure how the horse's hooves would fit.
No,
But,
I should imagine I should imagine elven artificers will be able to double up and make 4 boots for a horse set. You could probably buy them in a horse set, or buy them. You can probably get winter versions as well for Northern Alliance and all sorts of things like that.
So
Yeah, as Matt
says,
there, actually. Where does it specify it's a pair of boots? I don't know.
The picture shows 2 human-sized boots. Thank you.
Right, well, elves are master of magic, so I'm sure they could make boots for horses. Anyway, moving swiftly on from that. The King's Champion. Horrible thing they are. Aura of Fury, Kindred only, Crushing Strength 1, Duelist, Elite Melee, Individual, Mighty, Phalanx, Very Inspiring, blah, 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 blah. I think they missed a rule out there somewhere. Oh yeah, he's not stealthy. Argus Rodinar, very popular choice amongst elf players for some reason. Because of the Master Strategist, Altar of the Elements, inspiring dude.
Mr. Cooper's sat there saying that we need to actually give out a 5 at some point.
I mean,
why?
Maybe.
Oh, and then we've got the Swirling Tempests. I've not seen anybody use this before. The formation for the elves.
Swirling Tempest nastiness.
Yeah.
I've
our
been
resident
waiting
pointy-ear person at the club doesn't use it.
To be honest, because I have been expecting Andy to turn up at our club and play using the Dracon Rider nastiness, but he doesn't rate it.
Well, now he's got 3 printers, he probably will.
So, Chris is a lovely person. Your list is horrible. Is it a 5? It's certainly the filthiest list we've seen so far. It's close. I'll go for 5 now. If I see one worse, I might dial it back to a 4. But yeah, I'm going to go for 5.
I've got to call it a 4.
It definitely has a theme, and that theme is you're going to get shot to death before you get anywhere close.
Yes.
Shooting spam, yeah.
Oh,
it does have lots of Dracon riders for the flying spam.
Mm-hmm.
The Horde 2 regiments and the character.
Seeing that in front of you, you'd be so demoralised, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oh.
Okay, Grant Alexander, you're right. It's a 5. It's a fucking 5.
Yes, it's a 5.
I can't hold back. It's
who's going to win?
I'm giving it a 4.
Who's going to win out of Chris and Sai?
Yes.
Oh. On that table, on that scenario, I'm going to have to go Chris, I'm afraid.
He's got an open table with shooting spam.
To get points, Sai's got to come forward. It's got to come forward, and it's not going to be pretty. I'm afraid. And
I mean, first turn is going to make a difference, but enough of a difference? I don't know. I'll tell you, Sai, if you win this, well done. I'll buy you a pint next time I see you.
Well, those 6-sided things, they do have a play in it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
12-sided dice. It's the new thing. 12-sided dice.
And yay for Tim.
It depends how many you roll, though. And Chris has got a lot of dice to roll. A lot.
Yeah, he has. And it's going to be nasty. Yeah, okay. I will go for the whole. That's a list of 5, not a 4. And Yeah, Chris will probably pull that one off, but Gosai.
Right.
Okay.
What about you, Bob?
I'm going to.
Too many shots.
There,
Did you say something, Bob? Because I couldn't hear any
Too
of that.
many shots. Right, table 8. I said table 8. Something has occurred on my computer that every time I open a PDF, it knocks my camera out, and I've no idea why.
Okay.
I'm going to have to investigate it, but there's nothing I can do about it now at the moment, apart from just pull fully faces and hope it comes back. Okay, so Andy Ransom, the current double Bull Run crown winner, with his new shiny Night Stalker army, which has been all over the internet for the past few months as he paints it. A horde of scarecrows, a legion of bloodworms with the sharpness.
I must admit, not a legion of bloodworms with sharpness. Really? Shit.
A regiment of reapers. A troop of phantoms. A horde of butchers. Soul Flayers, large cavalry. Fond, a cuddly toy. 3 shadow hulks. A banshee hero. A horror hero. A Reaper Soul Drinker hero. And a Dreadfiend hero. My goodness me. And what have we got in that one? That's 13 units, unit strength 21. So, none of the old Soul Flare things, but 3 Titans.
I think it's completely cuddly. I'll give that
the 3
a 2.
Void... The 3 Void Lurker army is matched by the 3 Shadow Hulk army.
I like this list.
So, what do we...
I do. It's cuddly.
Andy's going to do well with it. He's a good player. Yeah. It's a good list. I don't feel it's excessively filthy. Triple Shadow
Hulks. Not filthy.
I love the models. His latest one is fantastic with all the eyes. Love that model. I think that's a 3, to be honest. Average filth level.
It's got Soul Flayers in it.
I still give it cuddly too.
Some people think they're still usable, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. I think they are clinging to the last vestiges of usefulness in sort of a misguided loyalty to the troop type, or the fact that it's probably taken them that long to actually get hold of the models and paint them that they refuse to not use them on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's probably more a case of I'm going to carry on using Soul Flayers after painting them. So I don't care. I find it a cuddly number 2. I'm not sure about the planar apparition though.
I do like the apparition.
I love this list. I think it's gorgeous and cuddly, but I
love like horrible visuals.
It's just so fluffy. It's I love it.
Right.
So, sorry. It's a 2 for me. It's not at all cheesy and nasty.
All right.
By this point, the amount of alcohol consumed is going up, I'll just note.
Well, even the 3 Shadow Hulks, to me, that's quite cuddly because I don't actually rate Shadow Hulks.
Oh, I love them. Since they had Slayer added, I think they're pretty solid.
I'd rather have Void Lurkers.
It's only D3 though, isn't it?
Any day of the week.
I mean, to be fair, yes, I also prefer Void Lurkers. It's more my style, but I think they're perfectly usable. Everyone has different styles of list. I prefer George's. From a me playing it point of view, I'd use George's list, but
Yeah, we have to go on to the particular nasty that's being faced here.
Oh, James Mitchell.
Oh, it's a well-balanced elf army. James Mitchell.
Yep.
Palace Guard Infantry Horde with the Chalice of Wrath. Kindred Tollspears Infantry Horde with the Hammer of... that I can't pronounce. The Measured of Hammered Force. The Kindred Gladestalkers Regiment with Fire Oil. And another regiment just on their own. So it's 2 regiments of Gladestalkers. Threnian Seaguard Infantry with the Scraying Gem and bows. Oh, they're the ones that are half bow, half spear, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Silver Breeze Cavalry. They're the short bow. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's way past my bedtime. They're short bows, 18-inch range, elite, steady aim, nimble. Stormwind Cavalry, Quicksilver Lancers, Helm of the Drunken Ram. Oh, that's the controversial dudes, aren't they? The one that took us many conversation threads backwards and forwards with the Rule Council. The Quicksilver Lancers upgrades to Stormwind Cavalry. Dracon Riders with Sir Jesse's Boots of Striding. Archmage. Another one with, you see, they must come in 4s. Because that one's got them as well on his horse. So it must be an elf thing. He's got 4 boots of levitation.
You're just jealous.
Yeah. I'm not jealous. I'm just saying that's like conclusive proof that they come in 4s. Okay, and the other dude's got the Inspiring Talisman. Another King's Champion. And look, Argos Rodina.
But yeah,
it's not the wings, but yeah. And Argos Rodina.
That is a completely balanced list. I've got to say, Mr. Mitchell's list is utterly balanced.
I was actually leaning slightly more towards a 4 over the 3, I'll be honest. I think that's quite a lot of good stuff in it. It's sort of borderline.
I do like Magga's comment of bog off deal on the Boots of Levitation.
Well, it's not. It's not buy one get one free. It's buy one get a set of 4, isn't it? Because they come in 4s.
Who do we think is going to win?
Perhaps that's for 4th edition.
I actually find this one really, really difficult.
Me too.
Because I actually think this is an exceptionally balanced facing.
They're both very good players. Either of them could potentially win the Masters, in my opinion. Both very good players.
Buy one, get a set of 4. Thanks. Thanks, Matt.
Who are you going to go for, John?
It's really, really tough. I actually think, much as I'd like to say it's going to be Andy Ransom, because I've known him for years and years, I actually think it might actually swing the other way to the Elves. And I am just not an elf provider, because I'm a Night Stalker player. So this is uncomfortable for me.
So James for Jan?
Well, sit up straight.
Yeah. James. I'm going James.
You see, I'm torn between the fact that is a really well balanced army, and the fact that I don't want to get slagged off next week on Andy's webcast for saying something derogatory about him.
Sat there and said, "Unit 25 with elves is well done."
It is. It is well done. It's
the gentleman of gaming. How hard is it to? I love Andy. Love Andy, as you know. But
I'm actually going to go. I'm going to book the trend, and I'm going to go for Andy on this one, because I think out of the two of them, he's got
gumption.
He's got slightly more experience than James. James is a very good player, but I think Andy might surprise us on this one.
So I think, as Jan was saying earlier, because this one's so close, this is the first one, I can't actually call it. I'm going to abstain on this one. So
you're not allowed to abstain, Dan. That's
I am.
Foul.
It's happening. Sorry. I can't call it. They're both very good. They're both good lists.
They are both very good.
I can't call this one.
We've got one to each, so we'll just call that one a draw.
Could be.
It could be. It could be. You never know, do you?
Well, next comes the fun game. And it absolutely will be.
The fun game? The fun game?
Oh, it's going to be fun.
The fun game between... Oh, come on.
Yeah.
It might be fun to watch.
It's going to be hilarious.
Are we
Mr.
talking
Miles
about
is going to love this.
At this point? It's fun.
Because having conversations with Richard Miles, he's about as close to a human dementor as you can get. When it comes to being depressed about stuff. So it might be a fun game to watch, but I'm sure there'll be some dark moments in it.
I mean, it's nice.
He's probably
going to go amazingly.
He's probably going to batter me for saying that as well now, because he's some sort of ninja as well. Right, so Rifford Stokes, yay! After all the fighting and that to get him in, unfortunately, and I will say this now, Normalux didn't get in by a point. One single point, despite the efforts of our club mate Barry, who travelled up and down the country desperately trying to get us into Masters. A whole point. I'm a dead man. Okay.
You are a dead man. I tell you what, I'll even help him.
Riffforged Legionaries. Mike Young told me to say that. Riffforged Legionaries, heavy infantry. Horde with the brew of sharpness. Horde with suggestive boots of striding. Reborn Legionaries. They all look the same on the table, to be honest. A regiment, crushing strength 2. Orklings, filth.
Rick, I'll kick him in the balls.
Should be nerfed off the fucking table. They need to go Orklings. I'm surprised he's only got one swarm, because normally that's what wins the bloody game for him every time. Orklings in the flank. That's you screwed. 2 storm giants who just stand around and watch while the Orklings do all the fighting.
Slayer.
The Jean-Michel Jarre steam-forged shrine thing of the dude playing the giant keyboard. Rift Forger Hero, who's the bloke with the bucket and a hammer who runs around casting stupid magic on people. Host Shadow Beast 3.
He's got a bucket.
Shame. Thonar. Special rules, crushing strength 2, individual, inspiring, mighty, stormstrike, thunderstruck. It looks nothing like anybody from AC/DC, I'll say now. Riftforged Legionaries. No, he's not. But and then this is the formation, the Iron Boots dudes. One with the Helm of Confidence, so that they can go and stand in the corner on their own, which is where the whole army should be, really. And then, oh look, the Orb of Towering Presence on a unit that hasn't got individual rule or fly.
Oh.
So that's the Rift Forged Orcs of Rich Miles. which
Nice
is a
army.
huge horde army of dudes with crushing strength and iron boots and stuff like that.
Slightly fluffy.
I absolutely love this list.
I mean, it's not completely fluffy. It's got Phonar in it. 2? I'm going 2.
I got 2. It's kind of cuddly. It's not.
Like Richard.
It's facing the
over the top.
The furry filth.
Oh no!
Oh,
poor Richard.
That's just wrong. How could you call it that?
I mean, everything about Mark Cunningham is wrong. Let's face it.
Yes.
What's that?
Mr. Moonraker saying stick push. It's like, you can't call it furry filth.
Why am I going to get a dick punch? I've missed something
Let's
there,
think
obviously.
about that one later. Okay, let's think about that one later. Just
that's
stew
assuming
on
there is
that
a
for a
dick to
minute.
punch.
Well, actually.
Okay, so we've got shitload of rats. Six regiments
this is what
of
you're
rats.
facing. Sorry, Rich.
So with the last 2 slave death parlors. With, Overmaster with the Infernal Advance, which gives everybody Aura of Strider for infantry only, which makes all the bloody rats horrible. Gorlek Skinflayer, he's a pain in the backside as well with his nimble thing. Chrysa's Gore Impaler, the horrible monster thing. Overmaster on Ancient Winged Half-Breed Hero. A recent edition, I think, that one. And then the lowest of the low. The interesting one with this one is the out of my way worm thing. I don't think I've ever actually seen anybody use that to pop one of your own units so that you can get into combat. It's really interesting, though.
Yeah, when I played against Mark one time, he used it against me, and it was very effective.
Yeah. Would that be at the Rift Wars tournament?
Mm-hmm. The game we didn't finish because the timings were quite tight.
Because you ran out of time, yeah. Well, I wish I'd have had the same, because I played him in the first round of that with my Abyssals, and unfortunately we had stacks of clock left after he wiped me out.
Solid list.
So, hordes and hordes of orcs against hordes and hordes of third things.
You see, the trouble is, the orcs kill things
so what
in
do
melee.
We think?
The rats blow up in melee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but it's not massive.
What Richard wanted to see. Really? I mean, he might win on scenario.
Yeah, the
Taylor is nasty.
Yeah, the mother, like Grant said, the mother Chrysa's Gore Impaler thing with the battering ram rule, that if it kills something, it can overrun an individual. There is that one. And I mean, I faced similar to this at the Bull Run with my 3 dwarfs, and it was a close game, but the man of the match for Mark in that one was the Overmaster hero with his defense 6. He just clogged the entire flank up, and the Strider that he gives to the rats means they can fight virtually anywhere, and then still hold their own. Whereas the orcs haven't got that.
I can't help but feel this is Mark's game. It just Richard's a good player.
The big hordes of orcs. The big hordes of orcs are an ideal target for those death engines because they can get in from all sorts of. And with the footprints of the orcs, they can get in the flanks and stuff like that. The giants might cause this some problems.
Maybe.
I think.
Until it blows up and kills them. Well,
it's not a couple of regiments of They do 2D3. They're not going to kill giants.
Mm.
We'll see.
There's only 6 regiments
have
of
to
them.
record otherwise. If it
plus
happens,
the slaves, I know.
Definitely mark for me. What about you guys?
I think. I'm going to go for Rich. Having played both of them recently, I think that the extra resilience of the orcs might swing it.
Depends how he plays it, but it's an open
with the
field
individuals taking out
and explosives.
I think this one I need to abstain from because I absolutely think
you can't do that, Jan. How dare you?
Well, you just did, so guff you. Oh, it's so close for me, and I really do think both of them could swing it either way.
So,
and
1-1.
I know that they're both exceptionally well practiced with the lists.
They are. I mean, there's not many people
So another draw then.
Particularly well with Riftforge, but yeah, 1-1.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll have to call it a draw. Sorry, but I do.
Right, the penultimate table. So let's see if I can remember what
we were on. Nick of Time.
That's his surname. So that.
Sorry.
Well, knocked me out that time. Right, okay. So, fish people.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's turn up for the box.
They do exist. They are still out there.
Yeah. So regiments of placoderms with the healing brew. They're defense 6 dudes, aren't they?
Yeah.
2 hordes of depth horrors. They're not nice people. 2 tidal swarm regiments and snare nimble scouts. Oh, 3 coral giants and a kraken.
Nice.
Did we mention 3 was the magic number earlier?
My word. Full Aquamage, just to add the Veil of Shadows to make things stealthy. A Depth Horror, Eternal Hero. Formation.
It's then gone for the formation.
The hidden ones. What are the hidden ones?
Stealthy.
Cephalopods.
Snare.
Oh, they Thull? Yeah, the Thull, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't actually say what they are, it just calls them the hidden ones.
Well, so no one knows because they're hidden.
Well, you can't fathom it out exactly. Like Dan said. It's a bit...
Right, okay. So the spellcaster, Inisha, Bane Chant 2, and he's got an Aura Thunderous Charge 1 cephalopod, whatever they are.
Octopuses.
So what do they affect?
Yeah,
Aquamage.
I agree with Simon.
Oh, it affects the Kraken. Affects the Kraken as well.
Inspiring for wimps. I agree with Ed there. I've got to say this is nice to see.
Oh, there is just the 2 inspiring things, isn't there?
Pride of Realms listed amongst everything.
This is a lovely 2. I mean, Nick was 30th at the end of the last season. Top Trident Realm player. He's clearly good with his army. I think it's a nice fluffy list. I mean, three.
I'm not sure I call it fluffy, but
well,
I'll go with cuddly.
It's got lots of big things. I do like big things. It's impressive, but I honestly think this might be leaning towards a 2.
Yeah, I'm feeling a 2 on this. It's not completely tentacle all over your face, which is...
No one wants a tentacle in the face.
No, you don't.
Three giants and a kraken.
Anyway.
Can I just say that again? Three giants, 4 titans. 4 titans.
So do you think it's higher than a 3, 4, 5?
I think it's a 2.
Well, I think with the deep
spacing kind of a 2. But that's
I think
me.
with the depth horrors, the formation and the fact it's got 4 titans in it, I'm pushing on a 3 to a 4 with that one because I think that's quite nasty.
Maybe. I don't know. It's solid anyway. Who's Nick facing?
It's not what you want to cuddle up to,
Well,
but
solid. I mean, that's
things don't cuddle up to.
That's a shit ton.
Some people like to cuddle on.
Shit ton of
why not?
nerve to get through.
Yeah,
we're not judging.
Well, we will have to ask Simon Cooper, who's going to face him, how he feels.
Yes. How do you feel, Simon?
Yeah,
strong 2.
There should be no problem
between 2 and 3. Yeah. Fluffy. Anyway.
Yeah. So here's Simon's list. Yeah, sorry, Simon.
This one.
You must have known you were going to be one of the last 2 tables.
Can I check? Am I misreading? This is Abyssal Dwarves with Abyssal Dwarves in it.
Abyssal Dwarves are going to be
it's also been carved from a single block of Gouda. It's got 3 Hellfanes in it.
3?
Only 3.
A lot.
3.
Only 3. It's cuddly.
I mean,
I face this list.
I mean,
you haven't faced it with 3, I don't think, have you?
I have. Not quite as big, but
okay. Well, that's quite impressive.
Impressive. That's one word for it.
Okay.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
So 3 hordes. Sorry, I'll go. I'll start. I went straight for the juicy bits. So three troops of berserkers. Nice rules, shit models. Get your act together, Mantic. They need some decent models for them. Decimators infantry. 3 hordes. Lovely new plastic models.
But can I just check? Slaver nets. Do Mantic make slaver nets?
Chaff.
Was it 2 Hellfanes I last faced at Bull Run? I'd have to double check.
Go on, Bob.
It was.
Mutated Mastiff Hunting Pack. Just for carrying tokens, I should imagine. 3 Hellfanes. Three. You have to take out a second mortgage just to even think about having 3 Hellfanes.
Or just give somebody a
Ironcaster hero
son or something. It works.
With the edge periscope, so we can hide behind everybody else and shoot over the top. Nice, typical. And a Hexcaster. Inspiring Talisman, Hex 3, Weakness 3.
It's quite a low unit strength, really. 20's one of the lower ones.
Well, that's because it's got 3 unit strength, 1 Titans in it. That are a lot of points.
And
I think this is
fucking
going to be.
nasty.
I mean,
This is going to be a good close game. They're both reasonably fluffy lists.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
they're
three
completely
Titans, but-
fluffy.
Well, yes, it's got 3 Titans, but other than that, that is like 1,000 points or something. Well,
There's going to be
800
7
or something.
Titans on the table.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool
4
looking
Titans
game.
versus 3 Titans. There
Make
you
sure
go.
you take
Grab
photo.
on the map.
I want to see a photo with all the Titans in. That'd be, guys, just put them in the middle of the table and just go rah. It'll look cool.
Well, that first game's gonna really have the opportunity for it.
It would look good.
It
quite like this.
will be amazing. I just hope I manage to get around.
I'm leaning towards standard fluffiness here. Filth levels of 3, I think.
I don't know whether it's Nick or Simon for me.
Oh,
yes.
You, Bob, any thoughts?
And I'm sure you will, Simon. I really want to see that happening.
I think the extra Titan might swing it in Nick's direction, to be honest.
It's all about those Titans.
Although I think the rest of his stuff will just disintegrate under all them decimators shooting.
I'm actually tempted.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Nick.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to go for Simon, so that's 2 of you for Nick and me for Si.
Did I go for Nick?
I thought you had.
I don't know. I don't think you made a choice yet.
I'm going to go for Simon.
Okay.
It's going to be a good close game, but I think
It
Simon's
is going to be a close game.
Just slightly got that.
I am very tempted to see if I can get this to be the on-table match that we all get to watch with Dash 28.
I'm going to be missing out, so that'd be nice to see.
Yeah. No, I think this one's going to be the one to really watch. Not on the it's going to outperform everybody else, but it's just going to be amazing to watch those Titans in the middle of the table. Although our last game is also going to be quite something. So table 11, we've got Steve Tono.
I can't believe Matt G's shamelessly advertising Clash of Kings on our cast.
No, we're going to do the Clash of Kings thing on the proper cast. This is just chat. That's nothing.
Matt Gilbert.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Matt. I did wonder who Magus 42 was.
Oh, bless. So, Steve's list. And yes, we all do love you, Matt. And we do love the whole Clash of Kings thing. I will come to it after we've finished the last table of Masters.
We can't rush cock.
I was just going to say, I hope you are coming to it because you're bloody running the thing. Oh, got to take it slow and steady. Okay.
I thought Steve Hildrew was in charge.
So Steve's Salamanders list. Yeah, but Steve's only run 2 tournaments. He needs some real expertise. That's why he kicked me into touch and took Jan on.
But don't forget, he's an internet personality, so
that's why I'm there, isn't it? Anyway,
well,
Salamanders.
I'm an international internet personality, according to Interpol. Anyway, so
yeah.
Steve Tono,
but we love you.
Fire Elemental Horde with the wider Elvenkind, just so you can have those nimble, crushing strength 2 guys flirting all over the place. Tyrants, Effigy of Fire, Sir Jesse's Boots of Striding, to Scorch Wings, a regiment of the big cuddly things that look like they came off Teletubbies, the Rhinosaur Cavalry.
Hoo-haws!
Hahoos, they're called.
Well,
you think
you had to put it right for me, so that made it better.
Hahoos were from In the Night Garden, not Teletubbies.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Yeah. It's my friend, the Pontipines. Okay, so Ember Sprite Swarm, a regiment. You can tell everybody it's got small kids, can't you? Greater Fire Elemental Monster. Bring back Button Moon.
No.
With the Aura of Wild Charge for Salamanders only. 2 Phoenixes.
Salamanders.
The two bargain basement Titans.
They are ridiculously good value. It makes me want to make a new army just so I can run the new Phoenix.
Mm.
Well, why stop there? Why not just run 3? 3 is the magic number. We've already discerned that this evening. 3
is absolutely. You know, why go less? You become a Rob Hudson at that moment.
Gekatar Clutch Warden hero with the Gnome Glass Shield, which is a horrible little thing. Mage Priest hero, Spellcaster 2, Surge 8, Bane Chant 3, Veil of Shadows. That was really effective against the army with all its shooting. Rakwas the Pale Rider. Oh, that's the big Titany dude. So 3 Titans in this one as well. And the Whispering Scales formation of Salamander Prime, Regiment, and a hero who gives them Elite and Pathfinder.
Quite a fluffy army.
It is a very fluffy army. I played against
2
this one recently.
I love.
Oh, it's definitely a 2. It's lovely.
You have to see the last list before you actually go for the full vote. I give it a 2. I don't think he's gone for filth. And I think there's plenty of other filth. But let's go for Mr. Larkin. No, Luke.
I was saying, isn't he already playing?
Yeah. Rich Larking was first, wasn't it?
No, it's not.
Luke last.
Rich Luke would make sense. Basileans.
We've got too many
drinks like a fish. Rich Luke drinks like a fish as well. So, Man-at-Arms Swordsman, regiment of 2 hordes of the floppy dudes, 1 with Blessing of the Gods, 1 with Chant of Hate, 2 regiments of Paladin Knight Cavalry, an Abbess hero on a Gur Panther with Sister. That's the gives them Rampage. Oh yeah, Rampage D3. It's written there. Julius Dragon of Heaven. Boo. Gnaeus Salustus, large cavalry dude.
Nice.
And then the Golden Panthers cavalry. Oh, no Samachris. Well, I suppose 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
So what's the unit strength?
Lots and lots of Panther Lancers there.
You're allowed to drink tea.
Lots.
And like fish.
Just keep going.
But not like my fish. Don't drink tea like my fish. That's bad.
Go on. So what's the unit strength?
This list, I don't find to be as
12, 25.
No, this is the stronger list. However, Rich clearly didn't know what scenarios we were playing. Go scroll back to the top of the list, would you?
Nobody knew what scenario was being played.
Exactly. So if you go back to the top, he's brought 1 unit for tokens. Well, in that push scenario, that's not going to cut the mustard. We're not talking about that scenario now.
Yeah,
but
no, that's the
last
scenario.
Obviously,
that's a little while off.
That he might need to be able to carry 3 tokens at some point. So it's like, I like Rich's list here. It's good. It's a 3 pushing a 4. It's very solid for me. I think Rich is a good player. I'm going to go Rich for the win here.
I was going to go for a 4, to be honest. But
I think he's got the edge in manoeuvrability.
I find Steve's list to be lovely, fluffy, and cuddly, but Steve knows how to use it. So I am going to say Steve.
I mean, from an experience point of view, Steve's played 4 tournaments last year and ended 36th. Rich, he's gone to a few more. I honestly think Rich, he's just got the experience.
I'm not convinced. But go on, Bob. You've played Steve. You got your podium.
I've played Rich as well.
Your first ever podium.
So last year,
my first ever podium. My first ever
Steve
first place.
Your first Kings of War podium.
Steve went to 4 events. Rich went to 12. 12. That's a lot of experience.
He's not Scottish.
I went to 21 and I'm not in the Masters.
But you were last time.
Experience, yeah, as a spare player.
We'll see, but I think Rich is good.
You think Rich has got it? I'm gonna go for Steve.
Oh, just don't cut your votes. You know, I've gone for Steve. It's up to you. Are you doing it?
I'm going for Steve because he's friend.
Sorry, Steve. Rich has got this.
Okay. Right. So that's a 2-1 for Rich. I love Rich Lakin. I absolutely do.
That's not Rich Lakin now. I'll say it again. Yes, you always get these two mixed up.
I do, don't I?
By this point, Jan is quite drunk.
No, it's Rich Luke.
Yes, it is.
And yes, John's just wine going down neck.
So
beer has gone down neck.
That's all the lists. Are we going to do who do you think is going to?
That's all of them.
3, or are we going to predict top 3? Maybe
top 3.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Out of the people that we've got, it'd be nice to be able to predict top 3, but it's flipping tough to be able to.
Tell you what, I'm going to go for a top 3. Could be wildly wrong. I don't care. In 3rd, Andy Ransom. In 2nd, Tom Robinson. 1st, I'm going to go with Chris Lynch.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that one goes. It's going to be so close cut between Tom Robinson and Chris Lynch in that top spot.
Top game, Ed, is going to be... I honestly think that Tom and Chris are probably going to play in an earlier game. It'll be whichever one wins and then ends up playing someone else, I suspect. We'll see.
I think they'll end up playing again at the last game, to be honest.
They'll only play once. It's only a 5-game event, which means generally you only play each person once, usually.
Doesn't always happen that way, though. I've been to a number of events where it's ended up recently that you've played people twice.
Who do you guys reckon for top 3?
I do think Tom Robinson, Chris Lynch, but I'm not sure which way around to put it. I'm actually half tempted with an outside vote of Steve Tonor. I think Andy 2D6 is well up there for the third spot, but I am actually going for the outside, not known by anybody, Steve Tonor, as a third.
For what?
Because I think he's a bloody good player.
I haven't got the experience against him. I still think Rich is going to beat him, though. Sorry, Steve. What about you, Bob? Top three?
So Jan's sort of vacillating between Tom and Chris from first place. From second place.
You're not meant to go off my fucking decisions.
Are you going to make a choice of which one's the first?
I'm recapping because I'm looking down the list here. I think that they could very well be with some of the people on there are remarkably sort of spiky. And all it takes is to be a bit of a spike. So just for the sheer hell of it, I'm going to say that number one is going to be Tom. Number two is going to be... Yeah, go on then. It's a toss-up between Cy Brand and Danny G. I'm going to go for Danny.
Honestly, there's a lot of players that could be up there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if James Mitchell ended up with a place in. Andy Marshall, John.
That was my third.
I would really not be surprised if James Mitchell got up there.
Ed.
That was my third choice.
Or Ed.
There's a lot of players.
But I will say, as a rank outsider, I am still sat there thinking Steve. Because I don't think many people.
I'll probably need quite a bit of beer on Sunday to put all the flames out.
Well, good luck to anybody that tries.
So, what? Putting the flames out?
Yeah. I've met the combustion in those rooms.
I honestly feel that this year there's been a few times where Tom's come second, third. Chris has been pretty much up there all previous season. I think this might be the year that Chris overtakes him. Honestly, I do. It could be anyone's on the day, the weekend, but I've just got a feeling.
We'll see. We will definitely see. I'm waiting to see how they cope, and obviously I will release the scenarios for everybody to look at once we've finished, so they'll be able to see all the lists. I will put the draw into the Dropbox as well, and I shall link it at the bottom of this web feed, although it might take me a little while to fathom out how to do it. So give me half an hour, okay, guys? Don't go mental.
I've already drunk half a jar of moonshine. It's disappointing how quick it disappears.
Is that in a mason jar?
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it? I got it from an artisan market. It's really nice.
Christ knows what they had in before they put that in. It's a good job it's alcoholic. Kill anything else.
Well, you see, I always taste the things as you go
around. Could have had gherkins in it or something.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah.
Oh,
very nice.
I must admit, I do have to worry about some of the stuff. Anyway, we shall bid everybody else good night, and we shall carry on drinking in silence and let everybody else talk about their stuff while we try and get... Yeah, stop shaking your dice, Bob.
If he wants to shake his assets in our direction,
at this point. and we'll chat in the back room.
Good luck, everyone. Have fun.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll
Indeed.
cope.
Enjoy
I'll
yourselves.
try not to kill any of them.
Catch up with you all later in the year.
Well,
Thanks, Ed. See you
work this
soon.
out.
So is this where we realise it's not actually